here because the outside world rejects you.
Casey, when you're done saving the world, do me a favor. Grab a slice!
Welcome back, everyone. The Ninja Turtles comics just dropped some major new info on the 40th anniversary comic celebration. There is a bunch of stuff from different past versions of the Ninja Turtles that'll be included in this comic celebration issue, and they just released a bunch of details of that over on IGN's website. So we're going to go ahead and break it all down. The comic celebration is coming out July 10th, and it will be one big comic book that will include multiple stories set in different Ninja Turtles universes. The first thing we see here is that one of the stories in the comic celebration will be taking place in the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated universe. We can see a preview here of what's happening in their story, and what's really interesting about this is that the story seems to be taking place in the Rise of the TMNT future that we saw in the Rise movie. Although in the movie, it appeared that Donatello, Raphael, and April had died by that point, and in this, we're seeing that future, but they're still alive, so this is likely before they die in the movie. We see Donatello, and he's wearing some type of futuristic suit. We can also see Raphael, and he has a missing eye, which another future version of Raphael in a different version of the Turtles also had a missing eye. We also see what appears to be April there as well with a trench coat, and they have their cat Mayhem, which was a character in the show. We can also see that Casey Jones is there as well. They appear to be having a meeting about something, and everyone seems to be distraught. Maybe this is when the Utroms are taking over the Earth. We see Michelangelo is more optimistic and begins to open up a portal like he does in the movie. But yeah, that's all we got to see on this one, as this is where this preview ends. We next move on to the next preview, and here we can see that this story is taking place in the 2003 Ninja Turtles animated universe. Now, it was already teased that these turtles would be in this book. This was back when these variant covers were revealed a couple weeks ago, but now we can see a little bit into what's happening in their story. It looks like the moments that we're seeing is sometime after the events of the Turtles Forever movie. This appears to be the case because one, what appears to be going on in the picture, and two, because of a quote that's here on the article. The quote is from Emilio Lopez, who worked on the 2003 animated series and returned to work on this. The quote says, 15 years ago, Lloyd Goldfine, myself, and Kerry Randolph ended our time on TMNT 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles Forever, the special 25th anniversary film. And now we're back to continue where we left off. Now in this photo, you can see Raphael is fighting the mutated version of Hun. So Hun as a big turtle like we saw in the movie. So yeah, it seems like he never got turned back into a human. The two seem to collide with Raphael headbutting Hun. Then Hun punches Raphael and Raphael goes flying. We then see one of the other Ninja Turtles jump on Hun's back. Now we did see this turtle Hun on one of the variant covers for this book, and on that cover we saw these other villains as well, so maybe we'll see them also in the book.
He's wrong. We're not wearing costumes.
The next Ninja Turtles continuity the book will be revisiting is the 2012 Ninja Turtles animated show universe. In their preview page, we can see all four of the turtles fighting a big pink sludge monster. We have a quote here in the article from the creator of the show, Ciro Nieli, who's involved in this story in the book, and he says, the 2012 incarnation of the turtles are still alive and roaming New York City. I've had this story idea of the brothers dealing with change, feeling pointless, facing a new threat. They are growing up, grappling with losing their teenage moniker. Towards the end of the series, I pitched it as an animated movie. Unfortunately, it never happened. This short comic interlude is a teaser for that bigger story that never was. It was really exciting to let the boys out to play. I knew I missed them. I didn't realize how much though. So yeah, it's good to hear that in the show creator's mind, those turtles are still out there doing stuff. Now I want to see that movie that he had pitched. Paramount Plus needs to make that happen.
What is this? 8 wannabes?
On our turf?
Trying to steal our act?
The next version of the Turtles that the 40th anniversary comic celebration will be revisiting is the original Mirage Comics universe, so the original black and white comics that started it all back in the 80s. The article states that there will be 3 new stories that take place in that continuity. We see a page that's done by Jim Lawson and Steve Levine, who are some of the main artists at Mirage, and you can see Raphael in the preview page fighting the Rat King. You can also see this other page here, which appears to be one of the other Mirage stories. The art is done by Paul Harmon, and underneath is a quote from Tristan Jones, who was a writer on some of the Mirage comics, so it seems like they're working on this one together. In the preview image, we can see the turtles striking their iconic pose. Underneath we get some random images, one of this robot type thing, then here these ninjas, then there's this image here of the turtles reading comics about themselves, and then finally there's this image here of the turtles fighting this big monster. There's no preview for the third Mirage story, but there was a variant cover that they revealed that shows art by former Mirage artist Michael Dooney, so maybe he'll have some involvement in that third story. We don't know yet. Now, the next preview image we got was for something that the article is calling a new Kevin Eastman story. So I'm not sure what separates this from being a Mirage story, but I guess we'll have to wait and see when the book comes out. Anyways, here's the preview image, and it shows Leonardo on what looks like a solo mission. We see him walking down an alley or a sewer. We see him leaping through the air, and yeah, he's wearing some gear here. You can see it there on his chest and on his arms and his legs. We'll see if we got to look at any of the other turtles in this story. Alright, next they also said we'll be getting 2 stories told within the IDW continuity, which is the current version of the turtles in the comics. Now, this article doesn't have any preview images for those stories, but this article over here on comicbook.com does. You can see that the preview image for one of the stories is this one here. You can see what looks like Michelangelo sitting outside with his cat Clunk. Michelangelo pulls out a comic book, and to us, the readers, it seems to resemble the events of issue 100 of this IDW Comics run. So the end of the City at War arc. You can even see that the comic says City at War, and you can see Splinter on the cover there, who's called Super Duper Rat Dad, fighting the Devil Dragon, which I think is supposed to represent the Pantheon's dragon father. Not sure what this story is exactly going to be about, but there is a quote here from the artist, Michael Dialanis, that suggests it's going to be an emotional one. The next preview image for the other IDW story that's going to be included in this 40th anniversary special is this one. And if you're familiar with the Ninja Turtles The Armageddon Game story, which we did a full 3-hour breakdown on, by the way, link in the comments, you can see that the events portrayed in the story here seem to look like they are set around the time that the turtles were training their new mystic powers that the Shredder was showing them right before the Armageddon game began. Now, this seems to be confirmed by the writer of the story, Rhonda Pattinson, who says in a quote, "I was thrilled to have the opportunity to write for TMNT again, and when I learned I was going to be paired with artist Pablo Tunica, it seemed natural to set a story within the timeline he had already established. I chose issues 131 and 132. So yeah, for those who don't know, that was around the time that Armageddon game story started.
My favorite literature, comic books.
Mushroom Man? Super Wombat? The Teen Twinkies? How can you read this junk?
Junk? Get off the planet, bud.
Next, what was said in the article is that we will be getting a Saturday morning adventure story, so the original 1987 cartoon Turtles, who currently have a comic book that comes out once a month called Saturday Morning Adventures. On their preview page, we can see them fighting the Shredder, getting chased by the Fly version of Baxter Stockman, and dealing with Leatherhead.
Come on, admit it, dudes. You read it too.
Alright, so the next few continuities that were announced to be in the book, we didn't get any preview images for, so let's just kind of go through these real quick and finish the video off. The article says, we will be getting a new story told within the Image Comics version of the Turtles, which the 30th anniversary comic 10 years ago did as well. But yeah, it'll be cool to see what they're up to. Then they said that there will be a story that is told in the Archie Comics universe, so the early 90s comics. So yeah, there you have it. They'll be in this book too. Now, in addition to these stories, this issue will also feature a bunch of new pinup artwork from a variety of artists. But yeah, like I mentioned, this thing drops July 10th in comic book shops, so mark your calendars. This should be a fun event. And also remember, the new Ninja Turtles comics, so the current ones that are going on right now, are about to kick off their relaunch in July. So they're going to start fresh with a new #1, a new writer, a new artist. It's the start of a new era for the Turtles in the comics, and we'll be discussing every issue as they start coming out. So yeah, everybody click here and check out our latest video where we talk about all the upcoming Ninja Turtles projects that are on the way. So comics, movies, video games, everything. And click here to check out my full story breakdown of the Armageddon game. It was the last major event in the comics before this relaunch. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in a little bit with another one. Take care.